This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill. Today, a new friend of the family, a guy who I'm honored to say has been watching the show for a long time. I've been listening to it for a while.
Yeah,
He's from Carrollton, Missouri, a small town of about 3,500 people. It's our boy, Bryan Andrews.
Hey.
We were just talking about Grizzly, the welfare bear.
Yeah. Oh, Grizzly Wintergreen Long Cup,
Yeah,
man.
back in the day, I used to dip the hell out of that, man. I remember it was like groundbreaking and earth-shattering when Copenhagen came out with the mint flavor.
Yes, dude.
I had buddies from Florida sending
Yep.
it up to me at my college in New Jersey, and I used to be on my college radio show just packing
Yep.
hammers of Copenhagen
Oh, dude.
mint, man.
People loved it. I never really got behind it. The mint was just like, it was such a strong flavor.
Yeah.
And so I didn't like Copenhagen that much, so I never really got into it. But
Go with what you know, man.
that's right, dude. I started when I took my first long cut dip. It was Skull Wintergreen, and I thought that was the shit for like a year, and then I switched to Grizzly because all my buddies did, and I was like, this is way better.
You know, that's a famous line from a Toby Keith song. He has a song Beers Ago from
Yeah.
like his 2000s party Toby Keith, and he
Yeah.
says, and wintergreen skull,
Yeah.
it was all we
Yeah.
had. And I was dipping
Yep.
wintergreen skull, man.
1,452 beers ago.
Yeah, yeah, man, yeah.
fucking
So
love Toby
how long you been out here in town on this trip? Because I know you're still back in Missouri, right?
Yeah, I just got here Thursday night.
Okay.
Or no, Thursday morning. Yeah, I woke up at like 1 a.m. and drove here, and then went straight into a right Thursday. Got back to the hotel, and then I can't remember what I just went to sleep early, and then I woke up the next day, my fucking car window being broke out.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I was like, I fucking hate this town. I ain't fucking been here for 24 hours, and my fucking car window's already broke out.
What'd you get into over the weekend?
Not shit, really. I just hung out.
Really?
Yeah, caught up on sleep, dude. That fucking and then Friday, we wrote another song. So
Yeah. How long?
Yeah.
How often have you been coming out here for trips and stuff?
this is like my third or fourth trip.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've written a couple with Ev, and then let's see, just some other people around town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've only written probably 3 or 4 songs. Brandon Manley, I write
Yeah.
with him. A
Oh,
lot,
yeah, I know
dude.
Brandon,
Dude,
yeah.
he's such a G, man.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's my buddy. But yeah, we're out here till next Monday.
Oh wow, extended trip.
Yeah, so a lot of my buddies are coming from my hometown. Like 4 or 5 of them are coming down on Friday, and we're gonna go to the Chiefs game on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because they're playing in Tennessee. So
With Gardner Minshew at
Yeah.
quarterback.
Oh, we're so fucking mad, dude. I was watching that yesterday. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me! Like right before we're about to go play this fucking game,
Yeah.
and fucking we're gonna watch some Minshew mania, dog.
Well, you're old enough to remember when the Chiefs weren't
Sucked.
that good.
Dude, we were.
They
fucking
were bad for as long as anybody, bro.
Man, I saw a video of somebody talking about that shit last night. It's like he was talking about his old man, and he was like, what's this feel like to you? And he said his old man was sick, right after like the 3rd Super Bowl or something like that. And he's like, I just can't believe I lived long enough to see us be this good.
Yeah.
Because we were fucking awful for
dude,
so long.
yeah.
Dude. I remember when we drafted Jamal Charles and we thought we were going to fucking be good, and then we sucked with him. But he was still like one of the best running backs in the league.
And Priest Holmes before him.
Oh, fuck, he was a G, dude.
Yeah.
From like the time I was a little kid, he was like the number one guy that I paid attention to as a child. Him and Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, Tony was huge
Yeah,
for you
dude,
guys.
fuck.
Yeah, you guys have always had like 1 or 2 star players, but
Yeah.
never like a dynasty. And the
Yeah.
last 10 years have just been.
Dude, we couldn't put it together. And then like when Trent Green retired, it just went from like, dude, we had Matt Castle for a little bit, and then we just cycled through so many coaches like Romeo Cornell and Todd Haley and shit like that. After
Todd Haley was rough.
dude.
That was
Herm Edwards, we had him for a bit, dude. Like fucking sucked, man. But no, and then watching like Brody Croyle and all that shit, it was just like, are we ever gonna be good? And then we got Andy Reid, and there was some fucking spark back, you know. And then we got Alex Smith, and then we started going to the playoffs and winning the division. We were like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, is this what it could feel like? And then we drafted Patrick Mahomes, and I tell you what, when we drafted him, I was like, why are we fucking drafting Patrick Mahomes? We have Alex Smith.
Yeah.
And then obviously everything happened, and I was like, fuck. Okay, I'll eat crow for this.
Andy Reid knew what he was doing.
Yeah, dude, him and Brett Veach both. I think that like Veach didn't specifically draft Mahomes, I don't think, but he was like about to take over as GM. It was the year before, so. But he was Patrick Mahomes, like unsung hero in the organization. He was like, dude, I'm telling you, this guy's good, you know. And everybody, I remember when he got drafted, dude, everybody was like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean?
Why him? Yeah.
Yeah, and then it worked out for us.
Yeah.
Other than yesterday, fucking tearing his ACL, dude. It reminds me of the movie The Comeback. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
He's like ACL tear. Or
Yes,
whatever. He gets
a seal tear, a seal tear, ACL tear. Oh man, that's a classic movement. What was it like for you growing up in a small town like Carrollton, Missouri?
Dude.
You were welding, right?
Yeah. So when I graduated from Carrollton High School, same high school my dad graduated from, and then I went to the same college he went to for a couple years. My dad was a band teacher, so I went to school for music. Actually.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Ended up dropping out of there because I was doing shit I shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah, it happens, bro.
Yeah. So I ended up like hooked on Xanax for a little bit, and then quit doing all that, and then went back to school after I dropped out the first time for like 2 more years, and I was working at a bar called the Cross-Eyed Cricket. Shout out to them if anybody remembers.
I feel like I've heard of this,
dude. It's
bar.
like it's named after a country song, you know.
Yeah.
So like, or not a. It's named after like. Cotton Eye Joe, I think, because it has the, you know, like whatever. But anyways, it was this bar on the outside of Warrensburg, Missouri, the same place Delaney Walker went to school. And I just like hated going to class, you know, but I mean, I was in school, I was trying to get a degree and everything. And then I was washing dishes at that bar for $8 an hour back in the day. And all my buddies were welders and they was making $2-3 grand a week. And I was like, dude, I think I'm doing the wrong fucking thing here. Yeah. So I dropped out of school, and one of my best friends in life, he bought me a couple welding shirts, and I went to welding school and made it out of there, and I worked on the road for 4.5 years before I started doing music full time. Yep.
You know who's another kid from Missouri that started out as a welder? I don't know if you know him, Tyler Nance.
Yep.
Is another one that spent time.
We went to the same welding school.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little bit before him, but yeah.
Because he spent time living in like South Dakota and Iowa and Indiana and getting sent to different places. It's just such a unique lifestyle of jobs being on the road, and
it is crazy, man. I wouldn't trade it for anything, you know, but because it taught me so much, you know, especially about writing songs and shit, you know, because I had to learn how to do it myself, you know, kind of like Tyler did, you know.
Yeah.
So it was nice to get all that experience and everything, but you know, when I started I downloaded TikTok as a fucking, you know, like I wanted to do it because all my buddies were doing it or had it, and they were seeing all these funny fucking videos all the time back in 2019.
Yeah.
I was like, well, fuck, I want to laugh on my fucking lunch break too, you know what I mean? And so I downloaded it, and I started seeing a bunch of other people start posting their, you know, covers or doing music on there, and I was like, dude, I'll write a little bit, you know? So I started posting on there, and it ended up with like 80,000 followers or something like that before I dropped my debut single, Liquor and Pills, and it went fucking... it was like the first week. I dropped it on Christmas Day of 2020. I dropped that song and it only had like 9,000 streams or something like that. But for me, you know, like I'd never put out a song. So
you're like, wait, there's 9,000 people that have listened to this song?
Yeah. So I was like, dude, this is fucking sick. And then I posted a video of it getting played on my hometown radio station, KMZU, and fucking that video got 15 million views. It was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right around the time of Dick Down in Dallas.
Yep, with Trey. Yeah, no shit. Which we got the platinum plaque sitting right there. It's wild.
So like that time, I remember talking to Trey about it, dude. It's just like that time period for musicians was fucking incredible on TikTok because everybody was on their phone, dude. You know, I mean, the whole world was shut down, and like as soon as stuff started popping off for like music and people were on their phones, then it just was crazy for a lot of artists, and I was a part of it. So
that's wild, man.
Yeah, rode the independent train till April of this year, or June of this year, and then I signed my first development deal with Disruptor. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's fucking
wild,
sick, man.
dude.
It's sick. It's fucking been a wild ride, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing. You know, there's been some hard times and some really great times, but we just go with the flow.
Yeah. So. The older I get, when does the shift? Because when people talk about, we don't really get into politics too much on here, but with you coming on, I'm like, I want to get. It's something that you talk about a lot.
Yeah.
When somebody thinks about someone that says the stuff that you say in that song, they are in their minds envisioning the complete opposite of a guy like you.
Yeah, which
is, I'm sure
mean,
people bring that up to you, like you're a guy from small town Missouri, but one, I applaud you for taking the courage to say what you want to say and say what's on your heart and what's on your mind. I may not agree with a whole lot of it, but I can always respect somebody finding a cool artistic way to express their opinion, man.
Yeah, man. I think that when you look back on like music of any time period, or like history in any time period, there's always music to go along with that time period. And for me, you know, I've kind of been left leaning my whole life, which is weird in a small town too, but you know, like there's small town Democrats out there.
Yeah. Oh, there are. Yeah.
And so, you know, both my folks are left leaning, and my grandfather worked for General Motors for 30 years, and he was a Union Democrat. You know what I mean? So we just I was kind of around it, and then growing up, like around music and stuff, and you know, seeing different perspectives. I think, you know, it's almost like I say, like people in cities, if you're Republican, you're kind of a little bit softer of a Republican than you think you are.
Yeah.
Just because, dude, you don't, like in some of these small towns, you don't realize how far red some of these people are, deep red.
Like back home, I'm considered a very heavy Republican in a New York suburb. Down here, I'm considered very moderate.
Yeah,
you know, it fluctuates, but like you said, you got to travel a bunch, so you get to see. I think there's so much power in seeing how other people
and other perspective, dude.
And dude, to have more perspective and for you to be doing odd jobs, and I'd imagine some of the similar places where Tyler's told me he's done jobs where you're in the middle of nowhere in South Dakota and you're around folks that are living that reservation life, and you're in those small blue collar towns where people are working their asses off and not making anything.
Yeah, he. Let's see, Tyler, I think, worked in, I can't remember if it was Sioux Falls.
I think it was outside of Sioux Falls.
Yeah, just outside of Sioux Falls. I was about a couple hours straight into South Dakota, next to the pier, kind of. So.
Oh, wow, so you were in there.
Yeah, dude, the town we stayed in had, like, it was a population of, like, 86.
Wow.
So, but I mean, I was around that shit my whole life, so it didn't bother me none. But like, I mean, that's what I'm saying about like politics and stuff like that. I mean, I think I come across a little brazen online, you know, in social media and stuff like that. And, I mean, to me, there was a point for that, you know, so I don't regret the way I came across or the way I said things, but I do think that it's a little, like, I think a lot of people, even in my hometown, you know, have kind of labeled me as this fucking radical leftist, and I'm like, dude, I do every fucking thing that you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially in these small towns, you know, you grow up fucking riding ATVs, going trail riding, fucking drinking beer on the weekends around a fire with your buddies, you know, like just doing hunting, fishing, you know, like fucking my family owns ground too, you know what I mean? So like, it's just crazy that to see like it's not the switch up even. It's like, dude, you'll see like people say like, oh, he sold out or whatever the fuck. Or they'll be like, oh, he forgot where he came from. It's like, dude, I do the same shit that you do every day. Like, I still live in my hometown for one.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't fucking packed my shit and moved to Nashville anytime soon, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I was raised in that town. God willing, I'll die in that town, and I'll be buried in that motherfucker too.
Yeah. Amen. So. Amen to that, dude. What prompted you to go from, like, Liquor and Pills and some of the songs that you had put out previously? What was the turning point for wanting to put out a song like The Older I Get? And because I feel like you had touched upon it in some of the earlier catalog, but you really dove more into it. What led you to really jump off the high dive and tell people how you feel? Which again, there's nothing wrong with. You're an artist. You're supposed to write songs about what you are going through and what you feel.
Yeah, you know, I think what it was for me is like seeing kind of like, you know, because people will say all the time like, oh, he's not country or whatever. Because
you are one of the countryest dudes I've had on this podcast, Brian.
Yeah, they'll be like, he's not country because, you know, like he's a fucking Democrat. And they'll be like, oh, he switched up because he fucking used to post conservative shit all the time, but now he's just pandering to the left. And I'm like, okay, I never once ever have came out and like been pro-conservative or pro-Republican or anything before I started posting about politics. And like, obviously, I'm not a Republican now. Yeah. Everybody knows that. But I never once did that shit. I just posted about how I live. Country stuff like hunting, fishing.
Trucks.
Fucking, doing stupid shit like we all do in small towns.
Yeah.
And people associate that stuff with being a Republican and being a conservative. So they think that, you know, since now I'm saying this stuff, they're like, oh, he fucking is just pandering to the left. And I'm like, not really, dog. No. I just do the same shit you do.
Yeah.
You know, and now you feel duped or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like if someone, like, people freak out when they see a minority or first generation American, like an immigrant, that is pro-Trump. They're allowed to allowed to side whichever side they want to, but they assume if it's like it's a Latina first generation immigrant and she's pro-Trump, like, oh, she's faking it. It's like, no, you're a country ass dude from small town Missouri, but there's a reason why growing up our parents always told us, like, when you meet new people, you're at a dinner party, you don't talk about religion and you don't talk about politics. And I feel like social media changed that to where everybody's talking about it. We all know how everybody feels.
Right, exactly. And I think, like, for me as an artist, you know, like, it was important for me to say something just because, like, I vehemently disagree with a lot of the shit that that's coming out of this administration.
Yeah, in the world that we're living in, it's chaos.
Yes, exactly. So for me, it was easy for me to start talking about it. And then especially like when I hear songs like Try That in a Small Town, or, you know, like Richmond, north of Richmond kind of confuses me sometimes because, like, you know, the whole title is about how these fucking billionaires are taking advantage of us, right? Which is my whole fucking thing. Like, I mean, it's up versus down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so we know that. The whole title is fucking Richmond, north of Richmond. And you're thinking about how this, it's up versus down. This is a really unifying thing. And then there's that one fucking verse that fucking blames fat people and poor folks on welfare for why we're all fucked. And I'm like, if we know it's the Richmond, north of welfare, why the fuck are we still blaming fat and poor folks? Yeah. Or brown folks, you know what I mean? Like in some of these things. And so that's where, like, for me as an artist, I was like, well, there's nobody talking about the other side of this shit in country music. I mean, there is, but, you know, like, I saw an opportunity there and I took it because I feel like it needs to be represented. I feel like people need to be talked, you know, like some of the things we're seeing with immigration and stuff like that. I think that needs to be talked about because people are actually being affected by this shit every day. And I hear it all the time, you know, like even from my buddies in my hometown, because, you know, we have tough conversations and, like, I'm surrounded by Republicans. You know what I'm saying? So even my best friends that I grew up with are Republicans. And, you know, we talk about it a lot. And it's just like, it's important, I think, to have those conversations because at some point we've all got to vote again. Yeah. And we've all got to find some kind of common ground. I hate this fucking political sphere that we're living in. Yeah. Because it's like, if you're not one thing, you're a piece of shit. And, like, my thing is like, I don't care. I don't think you're a piece of shit if you're a Republican, dude. I don't think you're a piece of shit for wanting secure borders. Yeah. I think you start becoming a piece of shit when you advocate and laugh when people are thrown into a fucking concentration camp or when people are fucking arrested outside of courthouses trying to come here the right way like everybody wants. You know what I mean? So I think there's commonality there for most people because a lot of people don't want to, like, especially in country music, a lot of people don't, like, in today's country music, it's either, you know, it's like if you don't like it here, get the fuck out. You know, you see Nate Smith post a fucking video in response to Zach Bryan's fucking 10-second line of that song that got leaked talking about ICE. And you see Nate Smith post a reaction video talking about if you're not for America's values or whatever, then get the fuck out of our genre. It's like, first of all, who the fuck made you the sheriff?
There's so much room for everybody within the genre.
Exactly, dude. Country music is one of the most vast genres ever. And, like, what I think's so fucking weird is that we're like politicizing country music so much that, and, like, don't get me wrong, I'm doing it too, just for the opposite side, but, like, we're politicizing it so much that people they're putting, like, this mindset and movement, this MAGA movement, on such a pedestal that it's like a part of who they are. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's fucking weird.
Yeah, man. I mean, you've had politics in music forever.
Yes. Like, Johnny Cash, fucking Chris Christopherson.
Back in my drinking days, I'm coming up, Lord willing, I'll be 10 years off alcohol next May, which is great.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. Awesome. I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
But I used to get blackout and write papers. And I did really well. I had a higher GPA when I drank than when I first got sober. I was like, man, that Jägermeister in the freezer's getting me there. But I took a class at my college in New Jersey that I went to, Rowdy University, shout out. And the class was called Theories of Persuasion. And it was an interesting time to take the class because it was 2016. So it was right as the first Trump administration was coming in, and you saw, like, the power of ad hominems and memes and just tossing the ball up and letting the consumer finish the sentence, you know? Dude. But one of the papers that I wrote was the history of, like, music with Theories of Persuasion. And you look at on the side that you're conveying, on the leftist side, as people
Yeah.
say, or on the side that leans more liberal or
Yeah.
socially advocate and things like that. You look at a lot of like the 80s, 90s rap stuff. Like you look at the whole Straight Outta Compton and that movement. They were just reporting on what they were seeing with the police brutality and the struggle they were going
things
through.
that they were going through around it.
Green Day with the Rock Against Bush stuff.
Yep.
You know, like Bob Dylan singing about Vietnam
Yep.
and John Lennon and folks like that, and singing about it from that side. And on the conservative side, I mean, Toby Keith kicked the damn door down. Post 9/11, Toby Keith, which I definitely lean more that way. But music, it's always been about songwriters
Yeah.
reporting on what they see around them
Yep.
and what they're feeling internally.
Yep.
And you're just writing about the world that you're seeing from your perspective, bro. And
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with that. And again, I might not agree with what you say, but I'm never gonna try to take away your right to say it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Exactly, dude. And I think
So important.
I agree. I think that, like, you know, getting like a platform to speak in some of these podcasts, you know, like that you normally wouldn't see a left-leaning person on.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like
For me, it
that's-
doesn't matter which way you lean. I like your fucking music.
Yeah.
You're a good dude. You're working hard. You're putting out good music.
appreciate
People
that.
are resonating with it, and you're a part of the genre. You're a part of the
Yeah.
country music family.
Yep.
You know?
And that's the thing, you know, like we saw, like, I think it sucks for women sometimes, you know, who are outspoken, you know, like we see, like, you know, when Maren Morris and stuff took a stance, you know, I think, which there's part of me that thinks that maybe she bowed out of country music just because she didn't love it anymore and she wanted to do something else, and that's fine as an artist to do. I just, like, hope it wasn't that she felt like unwelcome here, you know what I mean? Because I feel like country music is country music, and being country used to mean standing up for people, and it used to mean community and like being there for people, you know what I mean? And I think that for me as an artist, like not just a country artist, but as, you know, like a rock artist and stuff like that, I think it's lacking that. You know, and I think there's a little, you know, like you said, with Toby Keith busting the door down for like that red, white, and blue, like red-blooded, deep South Republican fan.
And that was you look at how rallied we were as a country coming
post 9/11, dude.
Coming out of that. Sometimes it takes tragedy for that stuff to happen. You look at post Pearl Harbor and the way that America was in the 1940s.
Right, and I think with like that's why I think Toby Keith is one of the greatest country artists of all time, because he played such an important role in like unification, you know, and for that time period. Like, dude, I'm a fucking giant Toby Keith fan.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
but you're not a Bush guy.
Exactly.
You know, you might not agree with some of those decisions, but you can still appreciate and be a fan of that artist.
Yeah, dude, and I think that like these, like that music was a lot more centrist, I think, than most people think it was. You know what I'm saying? Like we've got this mindset where, like, if you are left, you're this radical fucking piece of shit leftist. And I just don't, I don't feel any more unpatriotic just because I lean liberal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, that makes me feel more American, is that, you know, like I can have the platform where I can speak up for people, you know, because a lot of people don't have that platform. I mean, I get DMs all day long.
Your messages and comments have to be fucking insane.
Yeah, dude. And
bro.
for every bad one, you know, there's somebody that, you know, sends me a DM. Like, I got a DM a couple days ago from a Latina woman that was saying, you know, like,
my chair just
no, you're good.
It's funny.
Like, she's like, I wish that, you know, I could say or speak as loudly as you do, but I have family members that are trying to go through the process right now, and I don't want to bring attention to them. You know, it's hard for folks like that, but it's not hard for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, for just as an artist, I wanted people to know where I stood, because, and I got this from Jason Aldean. He fucking said in a Dax Shepard interview that he did on that podcast, where he was like, you know, I'm going to say whatever I want to say, and they're going to take it how they're going to take it, and I'm not going to let anybody sway me. Fuck yeah, I can do the same thing then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's, and I just felt like that side, especially from small towns, was being misrepresented. You know, and I think a lot of people came at me real hard because I came at Christians real hard, you know, and they immediately were turned off by that. But
I think there's when you see hypocrisy, and I think it speaks to like religion as a whole,
Yeah.
where there's a lot of that, and obviously in small towns, religion plays a huge role because it's that sense of fellowship and community, and that's what it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
It's not supposed to be the I'm better than you because I'm sitting in this pew and you're stumbling in a little hungover coming in.
Yeah, or
sitting
like
in the
don't
back.
even believe, man. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like I hate that it's a saying even, but there's validity to it, or people wouldn't say it so much. But people say fucking there ain't no hate like Christian love.
Yeah.
That sucks. As a Christian myself to hear, like
Yeah.
I fucking hate hearing people say that because it makes me think that when they think of Christians, they think of hate.
Yeah.
And we're not supposed to be represented by that. And I think that you see like a lot of these like deep red pill guys, you know, that are fucking doing whatever they're doing and speaking online and stuff, saying what they're saying. It's like, how can you? Christianity was never supposed to be used as a weapon against the weak. It was supposed to be used as a shield for the weak.
It's not exclusive, it's inclusive.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It was never supposed to be that. And that and they talk shit like, you know, you hear people say all the time, "Oh, he's a fucking soy boy leftist." Like, okay, fuck you. I don't care. You say what you want to say, but I know this: Jesus Christ didn't show his masculinity and strength through oppression.
Yeah.
He showed it through love, compassion, and empathy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that I'm Christ-like in every way. I'm just saying I'm trying to get there, and this is my way to get there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, when I see, it's just like you said, the hypocrisy. I put out a song called "The Older I Get," where I write a line that says, "The older I get, I wish Christians tried to be a little bit more like Jesus, but I guess all them poor and sick kids just can't buy that house of white." That's in specific reference to people calling me whatever they want to fucking call me and say whatever they want to say about me, but then watching the president of the United States that they love to support put his name on a fucking Bible. You know what I'm saying? So like I think for me, it was much less of a like, I know I'm not going to change your mind overnight or with one song or whatever the fuck. I just want to give you an alternate perspective, you know, because like I'm seeing the alternate perspective every fucking day.
Yeah.
Especially like in my hometown online because I'm in country music, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like everything I do is surrounded in a Republican space. And I don't have any problem with that. You know, like I grew up around Republicans and stuff. I can live in these spaces too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I started talking about that stuff and started writing about it because, I mean, and I'm not done writing about it neither.
No, man. And there's the power of the dialogue is what's needed. What's needed. And I think that's something I wasn't like a huge like Charlie Kirk guy or follower, but I respected what he was doing with trying to talk. Like giving that, I think more people from one side and the other need to sit down and talk like this and just have discourse. Now, were a lot of the clips that were posted definitely a little much and a little propagandist? Yeah. Absolutely. But I think that we're all better when all the flavors of ice cream are available.
Yeah. Look.
And we can try a little bit of everything, and then you see what you like, and you don't. It's stupid to just put somebody down without hearing them out first.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, man. And I think that, you know, we all come from different walks of life.
Yeah, man.
And we all have a different perspective. And I think that what's missing is that we don't look, especially in small towns, is we don't look at an alternate experience because we never see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's how you get these super far right Republicans, and then how you also get these super far left Democrats in cities and stuff is because they just don't. They're not exposed to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, somebody who's a farmer in a small town who grew up in an ultra conservative family is not going to overnight change their mind just because they watched one headline or saw one headline or whatever, you know. And like, to be honest with you, a lot of farmers in small towns don't even really get on their cell phone. And if they have a cell phone, most of the time it's a flip phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I know guys that are 40 years old with flip phones still. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So It's not like these people are, and they go to work from literally dark to dark. So they're not getting online and researching, who they should vote for and being interested in it and, stuff like that.
Yeah, they go to the co-op, they go to church, they go to the same Waffle House or small town diner, and they're surrounded by their family and those close to them, and that's it.
Exactly. So they're going to vote red, because that's just what they know.
Or they're going to vote blue because that's how they came up in that family,
Exactly. So I think, like, it's important for people to speak openly, and, like, especially for artists to, I hear that, like, I don't want to hold it against anybody that doesn't want to talk about politics, artists or whatever, and, like, kind of put where they are out there for people. But I think that, like, it's important for me to do it because I want to show other people that, like, dude, you can live in these spaces too and still have a different worldview.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, but that's what I mean about small towns is that, they just get pigeonholed into this way of thinking and they're never exposed to the opposite side. So why would they change their mind?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody's ever challenged their idea. So for me also to be able to write songs like this, I knew I look like them, talk like them, and I'm from where they're from. So if I was ever going to reach people on the middle of the road or these, people that I would consider like soft Republicans or whatever, if I'm ever going to get them to see a different perspective, it was going to be someone who looks like me.
Yeah.
Like that's where I think a lot of it is lost in translation because these people in cities and stuff like that they just get so mad at people from small towns and stuff like that. And, speak to them without knowing where they come from, And so you might not be the perfect person to talk to these people. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I started saying what I said because I knew that I could.
Yeah. How do you balance being as outspoken as you are and as upfront as you are without alienating people? How have you navigated that?
Yeah, you're going to, I think, because like I said, like the things that I was saying, it was loud. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I was going to alienate people at first, but I knew if it had the impact that I thought it would, I would get to do stuff like this where I could talk candidly with people.
Yeah, and we're sitting here having a conversation, and we're on different sides of the aisle, so to speak. But there's a way to sit and have a grown man conversation about stuff. And I want to hear your perspective, and I want you to share it and all of that, man. When did you realize, like, oh shit, this song's really stirring the pot, or this is getting this is getting more eyes and ears on me than I thought it would, or that I've had before?
Yeah, I knew, like I was posting videos about it and some of them were going semi-viral and stuff like that.
What's semi-viral?
Like 1-2 million views, something like that.
That's semi?
Yeah, I feel like I just have it for like virality and success is objective and subjective.
Everybody's scale is different.
Yes.
But if you're just calling that semi, then you've had some big pop then.
Well, I just feel like, in the past, I've had stuff go pretty nutty viral. You know what I mean? So like whenever, I put out a couple videos in January and February, I think, and each of them got 30 million views.
Jeez.
So
what was the content in those videos?
The first one was about, that's when I started getting first outspoken about this shit. It was the video I made about gun violence. And the line is that I used in that video that I think stuck with people is it was right after the United Healthcare CEO got shot.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to make light of that in any way, and I'm definitely not trying to make light of, school shootings or anything like that. But my main point was, I bet if more health insurance or whatever big corporation CEOs got shot in this country, they would do something then. But it doesn't matter how many kids are getting fucking killed.
Yeah.
They're just getting fucking mowed down, and all we can say is thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
And like I don't think that's bad. I don't think it's bad to offer thoughts and prayers to people. What I do think is bad, like referencing the Bible. In James, it says faith without works is dead. So if we see things that are happening and we don't do a fucking thing about them, but we say, I'll pray for you. Isn't that the same as saying it's fucking dead?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying that I'm a gun owner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I live in spaces where I've owned guns my whole fucking life. I hunt pretty much every fucking day of rifle season, in Missouri. And I would never advocate for the total confiscation of firearms, but there's not a class or a license or an obstacle that I wouldn't go through if it meant saving one child.
Yeah.
You know, just, and then on the flip side, you know, advocating for putting funding towards schools to help with kids who struggle with mental health issues. But we don't give a fuck about mental health in this country, and I can prove it. We got homeless vets everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
The people that we put on a pedestal of loving the troops and loving the vets, and meanwhile we have homeless folks.
exactly. It's insane. It's insane to me. So like, you know, back to the virality thing, you know,
Yeah.
like I knew that some of the things I said were going to be polarizing, and I knew that they would catch some eyeballs, especially from people on the right, you know, because if I said something bad about Christians while looking like one, I knew they would watch. You know what I'm saying? Even if they were getting ready to leave a mean comment, they were going to watch it. So, or disagree with what I had to say, they were going to watch what I had to say and listen to that song, and maybe it might have an impact. You know what I'm saying? And then when I posted the crash out video, that's when it went nuts viral. On TikTok, it only got like 1.7 million, and on Instagram, it got like 9 million. That was my most viral Instagram reel of like that I've ever had. And then
It's crazy.
you just started seeing people fucking sharing it and everything. And then
I'm curious because I have not dove into. I'll be honest, I don't get on TikTok much. I need to be better about it,
Dude.
because our Raised Rowdy account's slacking big time in it.
TikTok
like-
is, I feel like, dying.
It's not what it was.
Not back in 2020.
It's not what it was. I mean, you saw I was Trey's right hand for
Yeah.
fucking 4 years.
Yeah.
Like I remember when it was going.
Yeah,
going,
dude.
and
When it was
now-
just so, it felt so like so much like community.
yes,
You know what I mean? Like it felt like people were there to see people fucking win.
Yeah. So you do as many talking like personality videos as you do like your music.
Mm-hmm.
So you use it as both a broadcasting platform for your music and your thoughts
Yep.
as a figure in the country space that leans left.
Yep.
That's beautiful because I'm looking. I'll be honest. I haven't looked at your feet, but it's a lot of you just sitting in the truck, and it looks like just talking. And I'm sure some of these are you teasing a new song.
Yeah,
or
I'll
whatever.
relate it back to the music a lot of times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, especially these rants and stuff like that. I mean, you know, I saw the impact that it had with that crash out video, and the HuffPost shared it. Fucking, you know, Fox News did an article on me and shit. It's crazy. So, but like seeing all that shit, I was like, this could fucking at least get to people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like the message could get to people. So that's where, like, for me, I figured out my lane of style of content, you know, that really can grasp people, and people know me for that now.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that it plays a major role in being able to talk about things that I love it now, because now I can be like super outspoken about the things that I care about and relate them back to the music that I'm making, and it's all into one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to have separate platforms.
Has it been hard for you to find guys and girls to write with? Do you think that that's been a challenge? Like
Not really,
coming
man.
into town, have people recognized you from your stuff and mentioned something at, say, like Red Door or one of the bars in town? Like
No, nobody's really said anything. To be honest with you, I haven't gone to Red Door since I started talking like about this previous song, you know, because the last time I was here was early September. So I haven't been out in town much since I put that song out. But I don't, like, as far as the industry goes, like when it comes to getting rights and things like that, like I said, you know, most people from Nash or a lot of people from Nash are a little bit on the lesser side of the right.
Yeah.
You know, that you would think. And so, like, just like me and you know, like we can come on here and have a conversation. We can get in there and write a song, you know, and it doesn't always have to be political.
yeah.
But I think that there are certain things you can say in music that both sides agree with.
Yeah.
And it's funny sometimes to get in rooms like, you know, with a couple left-leaning people and a couple right-leaning people, because you find that common ground through music.
Yeah.
You
It's
know what I'm
beautiful.
saying?
The
Yes.
common ground is the best part of
Yep.
it, bro.
It's fucking amazing, dude. And it's like, especially writing a fucking fairly political song,
Yeah.
when you're like in that room and you have these different ideas, but you all come together right there around that one song.
Yeah.
It's just a
Have
beautiful
candidates or like political figures reached out to you?
thing. Yeah, a few have like followed me and shit and like DM me and stuff. Like asking where I'm from and stuff like that. But nothing crazy. I mean, not like any. I mean, I guess like Jasmine Crockett. She follows me on Instagram.
I'm not familiar with her.
She's a U.S. Congresswoman from Texas.
Oh,
yeah, she's running for the primary in the Senate now with James Talarico. So I mean that both those people I think are great candidates. So I'm not going to speak on which one I like better.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think it's my place to say.
Yeah.
And also I love them both.
Yeah.
So I don't.
So you follow? How do you take in your political news?
Mostly social media, podcasts a lot.
Right? Isn't that crazy? Because that's so not what our parents did.
Yeah, I mean,
or even like our older cousins or older. I don't know if you have any older siblings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 10 years ago, it wasn't this way. It was you either watched Fox or CNN or MSNBC.
Yeah,
like where I was, I grew up. My family watching Fox and getting the New York Post every day. Like that was.
Yeah.
But that was how you got your stuff. Was what's on the front page of the newspaper.
Yeah.
Now it's what's this person saying on Rogan or saying on this channel or posting on TikTok. Like, do you like that better, or do you kind of miss how it was in the old days?
I think you see like you have access to a lot more different perspectives on one thing now. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not listening or reading or listening to a news article that's from one person, one journalist. You know what I'm saying? Or edited by one person or whatever. So I think you have a lot more perspective. However, I do think it's a lot easier to fall for misinformation. You know what I'm saying? So like when, for me, a lot of times I'll use an app called Ground News. And this is not an ad. They don't fucking pay me or nothing, but they're dope because they'll like every article you see, you can put it or you can see it on that app, and they'll tell you which way it is biased.
Oh, because there's always a bias.
Yes,
there's
absolutely.
always gonna be at least some bias. Do you sometimes find yourself looking at from the other lens, like seeing what is the right wing saying?
On certain specific situations, absolutely.
I do that too, where I'll tune in like election night. I'll tune in to CNN or MSNBC during a commercial break on Fox just to see how differently
they're portraying it to their audiences.
The same thing is happening, but how different are these talking points and graphics and headlines,
Dude, it's insane. That's why I try to stay away from CNN and Fox News as much as possible. I think the only times I watch them is on election nights, just because I feel like they have the best coverage.
Yeah, because they have the best resources to get everything.
Yeah, but as far as and I think CNN and Fox News are both getting better about like having certain segments on their shows where they have different, like the people from the opposite side of the aisle, to talk about things, but it's still, you know what I mean? So I think for like headlines and shit like that, it's cool to fucking, like I've got some of my updates for certain news outlets and stuff turned on or whatever, so I can see those. But as soon as I grab the headline, I'll go look at it in Ground News because I'm like, okay, what am I reading? And I want to know who I'm reading it from and, stuff like that. And then
where's the source? Yeah.
Yeah, and be able to form my own fucking opinion about it. But there also are some things where like, dude, you'll see a video, like a real-time footage of something unfolding, and it won't be like news or anything. It's just a video that somebody in that place has recorded and posted online.
Like what we're seeing with the latest thing that happened in Australia.
Yes. Yeah, and like you're not even watching a news outlet. You're just watching people that have recorded it that were there.
The raw footage.
Yes, and like I think that is good and bad because like you can see it in real time with your own eyes. But at the same time, like, some of that shit we shouldn't see.
Yeah.
Like, even with the Charlie Kirk thing.
That shouldn't have been.
No.
That video should not have been released.
No. Everyday people are not supposed to see things like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, it's like, because there's a certain connection that you have with that person, whether you like them or hate them. And to watch, like, life be taken like that we're not supposed to see that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, like, there's specific situations in your everyday life where you're going to, like, be there when somebody passes away or something like that. But that was, like, sickening to watch. Dude, I hunt deer and have killed more than I can count. I've never been sick to my stomach as much as I did watching that video. And we are not supposed to see stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree, man. Now, getting off the politics and getting back to the music.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening up and talking about all that shit, by the way, man. Another song that you had put out earlier this year, Blue, which is one that, because you're 29, right?
Yeah.
So I'm 30. We're right about that same age.
Yeah.
We've all grown up in the iPhone text bubble era, and when you get a green message sent, it's like they either blocked or they switched to an Android, and they probably didn't switch to an Android, man. But talk about that song and what went into that.
Yeah, I think that was just about. I had actually wrote that song a couple years ago, and I had just got fucked around on by a girl that I.
The worst, bro. Yeah. The worst. Fuck. But everybody goes through it, guys and girls.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like we weren't even like, that girl. We weren't even like, like real into it or anything. It's just like that one feeling of betrayal or whatever that you can't get because like it's so common, that like, and it happens so often that you're like, fuck, how many times is this gonna fucking happen? So I sat down and I wrote that song, and it came at a time where I hadn't written a song in like 6 months. I mean, I was fucking starting to feel pretty down about that, you know what I mean? And like shit was just kind of slow and stuff like that. So when I wrote the song, it was 2 years ago, and I wrote the first verse that. And then the chorus where it's like, hope it turns green instead of blue. Yeah. And I got that idea because I was like, I wish I could fucking block you. You know what I mean? Because like I just kept going back over there. And I was like, I wish I could just fucking get you out of my life. You know what I mean? And then as soon as I wrote that song, I finished it and I was like, I'm so back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I sat on the song for a little bit because I sent it to a couple people, and the response wasn't like in my personal life, and the response wasn't what I thought it would be. Nobody like talked shit on it, but it wasn't like, great. It's like, oh, this isn't a fucking banger, So I was like, whatever. And then when I started talking to Disruptor, I went to Los Angeles the first time and was in a room with.
What is Los Angeles? Like, quick
dude.
Sidebar.
Yeah, fucking. I mean, I love it, dude. I fucking love LA. I think people have this like real deep misconception about like, LA is this like liberal fucking place that you can't go anywhere without, having leftist ideology shoved down your throat. And I didn't feel that way at all, and I'm from a small town and I relatively don't like big cities. Like I fucking most of the time cannot stand Nashville. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when I went to LA, it was just, for one, it's always fucking sunny there, and you just feel good.
It's hard to have a bad day when the sun's out.
Yes, dude. So when I got there, it was like my first time really getting in a writer's room with people and like having a producer there. And we did that song with Andrew Goldstein was the producer, and the other songwriter was Marshall Vore. And we got in there, and I had the whole song written or whatever. And I just got off the plane, went to this guy's house, went to Andrew's house, and he was like, all right, so what do you guys want to write about today? And I was like, I don't care, and I knew I had that song in the back of my mind because I've got a bunch, that I never finished or whatever. And I was like, hey, can I just play you this song? And if you don't like it, it's whatever. We don't have to do it or whatever, but like I'll just play it for you. And if you like it, we can roll with it. And I played it, and he was like, we have to fucking write that. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah. And we didn't end up changing anything besides like we got rid of the bridge and changed the second verse. And then the song was basically fucking done. Nice. And like it was fucking 6 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon when I got done. And I remember going back to my hotel room and I was like, that was fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And like, I had already known that, but I mean, that moment, there's specific light bulb moments that you have. Yeah. And that was one of them. So I'll always love that song because I felt like it revived my career kind of. I was slowing down a lot. I was still doing the independent thing, and being an independent artist is a hell of a lot harder than people think it is. But
the rewards when you win as an independent is like crazy, no other feeling.
Yeah, because I mean, dude, you fucking basically did it yourself. You know what I mean? And it's just such a freeing feeling. And I when I think about that I signed a deal or whatever, I still have such a ton of respect for people who live that independent grind for their whole careers.
What led you to wanting to sign the deal?
I think it was just that if there was going to be a time where I did sign a deal, it was right now. And so I was like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to do it. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. I'll go back to fucking welding if I have to. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? So, but it's worked out great so far. I mean, obviously it's been fucking incredible. And, getting to write with so many different people. I think we've got like, by the end of this trip, we'll have like 18 songs
That's great.
Yeah, so I mean,
Makes it worth it.
yeah,
Come out here.
that are pretty much done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, especially dude, and like, it's not that I hate Nashville. It's just in Los Angeles, like I said, dude, you can go. There's so much history there too, and it's almost like New York City. You know what I mean? Like you can go fucking anywhere and see anything.
Yeah.
You know, and see so much history, and then you can drive an hour and be at the beach, or you can drive 2 hours north and be at Big Bear, or whatever. So there's just so much shit to do in LA, and you like there's an isolating feeling about Los Angeles because there's so many people and you don't know fucking any of them. You know what I'm saying? But which for me was crazy. But there's also like a freeing feeling that like there's so many people here and I'm one of them. You know what I mean? Like I'm here on a mission doing something with my life.
Yeah. See, on the other side of that token, coming from New York, I have loved being here for the last 7 years because I've gotten to see the city get built. Like,
yeah, dude.
The whole skyline when I first got here to now, completely different.
Well, and I think it's
cool to watch, man.
For
But
sure.
I also grew up 25 miles outside of Manhattan,
Right.
So it's like Manhattan's had always kind of been there.
Yeah, dude.
But it's cool to. I personally am, but I've also never been to LA.
Yeah,
I've had it on my list of places to go, but I've never been.
Yeah, that's something that people don't like understand about Nash. I think is that because like when I first came here, it was on my very first trip ever. It was for my buddy's bachelor party when we were 21, so like or 22, so like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, BC before COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was right before that, and like I was like, dude, this place is really cool or whatever, but it feels a lot like Kansas City. It just wasn't super huge or anything like that. And dude, this place is growing by the day. Yeah, it's like now when I come here, I'm like, holy fuck, traffic is way worse. Like,
it's a lot.
But yeah, so I mean, and I've been to New York City once, and it was fucking so dope, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about that city, but there is something fucking.
It's
cool.
Again history, and you have every culture of the world has a representation in that city,
dude. And I think that's where New York beats LA. Because I think Los Angeles, which I haven't been to Los Angeles enough, but like I think that LA is like this very like it has a certain vibe to it. But like going downtown LA is cool to see all like the rock bars and shit like that where Ozzy Osbourne used to snort cocaine and shit like that.
Yeah, where Motley Crue was kicking the door down, drop kicking people off stage, where Metallica, all those guys, Guns N' Roses, where they all came up.
Yeah, so it's great to see that like music history there.
Yeah.
But in New York, there's jazz history and all kinds of music history too. But like in New York City, there's Ground Zero, which is a fucking chilling place. Like anybody that goes to New York, you've got to go to Ground Zero. It's just incredible, and
it's wild. I've gotten to go there with my mom and my stepdad and with my dad, and they know we'll go. They know people's name. Like we were close enough to it where there were people from my hometown that died, dude. It's wild.
Yeah.
So it's sad, but like you said, there's so many things. Like the Village is one vibe. Astoria and Queens is one vibe. Brooklyn and Williamsburg is one vibe.
They're all different.
Fide's different than the Bronx. Different than Staten Island.
Chinatown.
Different.
I mean,
bro. Chinatown, Little Italy. Like you got everything there, dude. And it's funny you talk about like the music history of L.A. I've been saying it on here for the past few years. It's really been like a few years, so I guess the moment's been extended. But I've been saying that we've been having our Sunset Strip moment here in Nashville for like the past few years. Yeah. Where it's like, this is the spot to be.
Exactly, because country music is like evolved in such a way that it's such a broad genre now that musicians from everywhere are coming here.
Youngblood's been teasing that he wants to get into it, that he wants to collab with Bailey Zimmerman. I'm like, that'd be fucking wild.
Exactly.
Like, I would love that. Post coming here to the point where he opened up his own fucking bar.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're seeing it just transcend genres.
Yeah, Sabrina Carpenter, who's selling out stadiums and arenas all over the world, says, I want to play at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yep.
She's one of the biggest pop stars in our generation.
Which, dude, like, I think that's such a cool fucking thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I want there to be as big a light on our genre. Now, will there always be that indie and that underground and that gritty side to it? Yes. There's so many subgenres of country music to where there still will be that like part of the scene that isn't the cool thing that folks that are really in it like us appreciate, But I want people to get their chances and sell tickets and make money doing what they're doing. You know, it's cool.
That's absolutely, dude. I think that there's like something super fucking admirable about all the artists who come through here, and not even just come through here, but like make that style of music that maybe it's not even just that style of music, but just music that fucking, is that gritty, like just underground type of thing. And they are going, instead of taking like the hardcore social media route, they're going out and playing shows to 50 people at a time, and like fucking grinding their ass off for years. You know what I mean? There is a respect to that I think every artist has to have.
Yeah, man.
And so for me, I think that's great. And what frustrates me sometimes though is like when somebody will come up to me and they'll be like, "Oh, he's just a fucking TikTok artist." Especially in the industry, they'll be like, "Oh, he's a TikTok artist or whatever," blah blah blah. And they'll be like, "Oh, he didn't come here and pay his dues and play in Nashville for fucking $25 and a fucking free parking spot or a free dinner or a free beer or something like that." You're right. I didn't come here and pay my dues playing Riders Rounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was paying my fucking dues welding pipe.
Yeah. Everybody's path is different. Now, have you gotten to do a lot of shows, or is that kind of the next thing that you want to get into?
Yeah, that's the fucking next step, is really fucking honing in on getting like my live presence going.
Because that's the hard part. There's so many ways to get there. So many guys like Trey came up playing shows in Birmingham. That's how Dick Down Dallas came to be. I've been doing music for 10 years. Nobody's ever given a shit. Let's put this song out. But he had the reps to when the moment happened. Trey's live show at that time,
he was ready for it.
I'd put it up against anybody's. Muscadine Bloodline, who I came up with as well, years playing shows. But then you watch guys, and I'm good friends with a guy like Bailey. And I remember when Bailey was starting out, it was rough.
I love Bailey.
It was rough. It was rough. He had never played a show before. Was getting thrown into rooms full of thousands of people. Tyler selling tickets right now, and it's you have to learn how to do that. But now it used to be you have to break an artist through the road and through radio and through this. Now there's just, you can still do that, but now there's another way to do it with the social media presence where folks know who you are before they even see you in person.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I think it's like the chicken before the egg thing. Yeah. Like, I don't think it really fucking matters as long as an artist is dedicated enough to go out there and sell their songs and speak to people. You know?
So what shows have you gotten to do?
I've done a bunch around Missouri, and like the thing that I like started doing when I started playing music and writing my own songs full time, I did this like small town tour thing. When back in 2019 when I first started, and we just went around like I think it was like 10 or 11 cities, and just raised money for St. Jude, and we just sat there for 3 hours playing guitar and singing songs and shit like that, and then getting to like move into some of the space where I'm playing some of these bigger venues around KC and stuff like that, close to where I'm from.
Yeah,
and going to like Iowa City and stuff like that, and playing shows there in these cities, but like surrounded by small towns, you know what I'm saying, where people can actually come,
where it's a hub where they can get to it.
And dude, like it's slept on like how hard it is to sell tickets in this business.
Oh dude, there's few and far between. It is. Club shows are in a very rough spot right now.
Oh man,
club shows are hurting, bro. I'm glad I got to tour the club market before COVID and out of it.
And like when I first started blowing up, I remember playing a show and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to sell tickets. And, like, 40 people showed up, which is great. But, yeah, like...
There's a lot less that could show up, my brother.
Yeah, but, like, in my mind, I was like, fuck, dude. Like, what did I do? Did I fall off or whatever? And then I think the last show we just played, we sold, like, 368 tickets in KC. So that was fucking incredible. You know what I mean? But, like, I think that's where those older guys who are like, you need to go hit the road and shit, that's where they have some validity, because you do need to go figure out how to play live in front of people, especially like, for me, I had never really done the first full band show I played was in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
And it was at 6th and Peabody, and I was playing for like a showcase thing for a booking company down here. And I was so fucking nervous. I bet I said the F word every other word, because it's like my filler word. Yeah. And I was like, I could not stop shaking and shit. And there was only like, 50 people in the bar, but it was still on a stage, the lights were up and shit. And I was fucking real nervous. And like, that's right before I met Bailey. And then I started seeing, how Bailey was playing in front of like 8,000 people when he got started, and people were eating him up on some of those performances. And I was like, you don't understand.
Well, because it used to be Bailey was the first of that. Yeah. Bailey was the first TikTok guy.
Yes.
He was at the forefront of being that guy.
Yep.
Before that, it was you start out in the 200 cap room, and then you go to the 500 cap room, and then you go to the 800, then you go to the 1,000, and that's over the period of years because you start out in each market at the 250 and work your way up.
Yep. And I think it's great. I think that with Bailey, you know, like and I'm sure you know too, he's such a great guy.
Oh yeah.
That like back then, I remember seeing it because I was like, dude, if that was me, I'd be fucking toast up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember thinking about that, and I was like, there's got to be some fucking grace period involved there because Bailey works his ass off, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
that's where the opening slots worked out really well, and
Yes.
having him as an opener, and he did that for a long time.
Yeah, he's
on,
just
dude.
a good fucking dude. But I mean, like that's the thing. It's just there's different paths to this, and nobody's journey in music is the same.
No, not at all.
And I think that when you look back at like artists who are really stuck in their ways, it's because, you know, sometimes they never got the break or whatever. And I can understand being frustrated at that. You know what I'm saying? But I think their break could always come.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's my thing about country music in general is that I think there's room enough for us all to eat.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where I'm at with
Amen, brother. So what are the goals for next year?
touring.
Touring.
Yeah, that's the number one
That's the
fucking
big
thing because
thing,
I
getting
just
on the road.
Yeah, I'm craving human connection so bad, especially after this last song. You know, because I mean, there's a certain amount of fucking hate that comes with saying stuff that I say, and so when you're just fucking reading comments and shit like that, it's not good for you.
No.
See, you know, so like you need to be able to go out and actually, you need to be able to see in real time what your music has had an impact on, you know,
Yeah.
and like you need to be able to see someone in real time who your music has had a real effect on. So that for me is number fucking one priority goal in 2026 is getting on the road.
Amen, buddy. Well, I look forward to seeing you out there, and appreciate you coming on and hanging out, man. This was a lot of fucking fun. People can go and find you. Just look up Bryan Andrews, and your stuff's everywhere.
Yep. Everywhere,
And do
man.
we have plans on any new songs coming? Or?
Yeah, December 19th. I don't know if
The song will be out before this comes out.
Okay, sounds good. So the song is called Grizzly Can, and it's basically
Hell yeah, hold it up.
yeah. It's basically just about growing up in a small town, and you know, and like hearing people say all the time, like getting into social media and stuff like that, and the way we see being country now. I think people are always like, oh, I only listen to real country music, and this is like the other side of that. Like, I feel like I'm country just like you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like before this shit was all a trend, I was still doing this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm super fucking pumped for that song.
Hell
It's
yeah,
not
dude.
it's not getting the love that I thought or that I hoped it would, but it's at least on pre-save campaigns. But like being an independent artist myself, I fucking hate pre-save campaigns.
Yeah.
Or used to be an independent artist. I can't stand them. They're fucking junk. But I think that, like, why would you trade pre-saves for real-time streams? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And you're just throwing darts and seeing what's gonna hit,
Yeah.
seeing what's gonna hit the board.
Exactly,
you know, man.
man.
There's nothing wrong with doing that. Well, Bryan, I appreciate you coming on and hanging
Yeah.
out, buddy.
Hey.
Y'all be sure to look up our man Bryan Andrews.
Yeah.
Grizzly Can. It's out right now. Y'all go and listen to the hell out of that thing. Comment on the video what your thoughts are on the song too. You can comment below on our comments section. Shout out to a good friend from Surfside. You like the green tea?
Hell yeah, dude.
I got
That's
an
sick.
8-pack over there with your name on it,
Hell
and we
yeah,
got some hats for you to sift through as well.
Hell
Our
yes,
light
dude.
selection of what's left post holiday sale.
Oh,
but,
man, I like it. I
yeah,
like
dude,
it.
I got you. Well, for my man Bryan, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Round.
I ain't never been the kind for staying in one place for too long. I ain't never been the best at saying I love you to a girl I love. Only got a couple tricks on my sleeve. They usually just make them leave. So if you